We will start with the consent agenda. All the following items which concern reports and items of a routine nature normally approved at AHA meetings will be approved by one vote unless any trustee desires to have a separate vote on any or all these items. The consent agenda consists of the discussion, consideration, and action on the following items. Minutes of the special trustee meeting September 22nd, 2020. Minutes of the special finance meeting September 22nd, 2020. Minutes of the regular finance meeting October 22nd, 2020. And a check report September 9th, 2020 through October 8th, 2020.
I think that, I think that's October 20th.
Yeah. Okay.
I'd make a motion to approve the consent agenda as amended.
Second.
We have a motion by Jay Randalls, a second by Dr. Hennepford to approve the consent agenda. Roll call vote, please.
Jasper,
Yes.
Hannaford,
Yes.
Randalls,
Yes.
Simon,
Yes.
Bob.
Yes.
All right, next is CEO's report. Candace?
Alright. So we got several projects going on. Mark's got his hands full with several IT projects. We have a project that we are using piped-in music through the facility to help with mass HIPAA discussions so that conversations aren't so easily overheard by patients between staff, etc. Just working on that. The server room project, I think you've pretty much got that wrapped up, don't you, Mark?
Yeah, we have 4 servers left to move over, but it's, I'd say 98% done.
And then the Wi-Fi, he's been working on for the last 2 days, pulling fiber at the nursing home, and he's got nearly all of that completed at this point. The security audit, which is performed by F&Q, will be happening soon, so we can be preparing for that, along with a door and camera project, which we're going to talk about a little bit later, and Mark will let you know about that. We've ordered several certified knee temperature kiosks, which will help with employee and visitor patient temperatures as they come in the building, and will help us log those per the CDC guideline requirement. You can see volumes there between beds, inpatients, and ER patients. Registration upfront collections was $74,365. No, those were not upfront collections. Sorry, I wish it would have been that much. Those were 113 accounts that went to collections for a total of over $74,000. And the upfront collections were a little over $11,000, which that tends to run, I think, around $30,000 from our mistaken. So that's down quite a bit. We've been working on the True Bridge project, working through some challenges with that process, and we're getting there. We have the Rural Health Care Clinic survey on September the 30th. They had, I think, 3 deficiencies, which Carrie has done a good job working through those, and they will they'll do an unannounced survey to make sure that we have taken care of those issues. Steve will be going over to Dr. Galbraith's clinic when Dr. Self gets back November the 16th. And then on the 18th, we'll hopefully have our first Freedom Clinic where Steve will be out there on Wednesdays from 8:30 to 1. And that will be at 957 Eagle Pass in Freedom. And that is a building owned by Matt and Amy Bixler. And I'd like to thank them for the the opportunity to rent that location. They actually moved out of there so that we could have a clinic out there. They're very excited about bringing Share Medical Center to clinic to Freedom, and we appreciate them letting us be in their space. That's all I have. Do you guys have any questions for me?
Is that clinic, that'll be a weekly clinic, every Wednesday? Okay.
And we'll be getting some advertising out about that.
Any questions? Candace? If not, I would entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve, accept the Share Medical Center written report for October 27, 2020.
Second.
Have a motion by Dr. Hannaford, a second by Dr. Simon, for the approval of the Share Medical Center written report for October 27, 2020. Roll call vote, please.
Hannaford,
Yes.
Randalls,
Yes.
Simon,
Yes.
Bob. Yes. Jasper.
Yes. Okay, next item is the appointment of Regina Wilson as compliance officer.
She was gonna be down here, but she had an ER come in, I guess. Maybe she, no, nothing under her. I'd like for Regina to serve as the compliance officer. I think Regina, with her background experience with regulations and the survey process, she has a good handle on how to handle those things, and would like to recommend her for that position.
She'll still retain her current position in
Yes.
addition to that.
Are there any questions in regards to that?
I make a motion to appoint Regina Wilson as the compliance officer.
Second.
I have a motion by Jay Randalls, a second by Kim Ball, to approve the appointment of Regina Wilson as compliance officer. Roll call vote, please.
Randalls,
Yes.
Simon,
Yes.
Bob,
Yes.
Jasper,
Yes.
Hannaford.
Yes.
All right. Anything else? All right. Thank you, Candace. Next is the CFO's report.
I'll kind of just touch on a few points on the hospital, nursing home, and homestead. And if you guys have any questions about anything else, go ahead and just jump into that. I'll start with the hospital. Operating cash balance for August was $1,059,627. Our accounts receivable was a little over $4 million, which you can see was a decrease. We showed a decrease of $469,281. We think and hope that is because of True Bridge, hopefully them collecting on our accounts receivable, and they're kind of getting ramped up and collecting on some of that. So getting that money in a little bit quicker than you would have in the past. Gross patient revenue was down a little less than $200,000. But if you flip back to the income statement, you can see that the net patient revenue was actually up. So that's at least good. It was up from July, up a little bit from July of 20, and then compared to August of 19 last year, you can see it was up about $50,000. So hopefully that's something that's trending in the right direction and will continue to go up. From there, I'll move on to the nursing home. Their operating cash balance was $498,086. Their accounts receivable balance jumped up to $567,000, which was a $113,000 increase during August. Their gross patient revenue was $322,000, which was a $40,000 increase compared to the prior month. Their patient days, pretty consistent. I'm sure if you look back at every month, they're probably hovering around the same numbers. 15-day difference from July. You flip over to the income statement, you can kind of see how how their numbers are reflected there with their net patient revenue. Kind of same deal with the nursing home. They're kind of, for the most part, always going to be hovering around the same numbers. You can see $332,000 of operating revenue this month, $326,000 last month, and if you compare that to last year, $309,000. So up a little bit. So they're doing pretty well over there. Let's go to the homestead. Operating revenue for the homestead, $62,000, down a couple thousand from last month. Coming around saying that 2,000, a little bit less than August of last year. Kind of same with the nursing home, homestead, and nursing home are pretty consistent in what they do, just because of the residents that they have. You know, they're there and they're sticking around. So not much change in that. You guys have any questions about any of that? If not, I might turn it over to Steve and he can talk a little bit about, he's kind of been handling most of the COVID expenses and reimbursements and stimulus money, anything that pertains to COVID. So I'll kind of turn over to him, let him kind of give a little recap of that.
Thank you, sir.
Every month I give you a printout that kind of shows how we've been using our stimulus funds that we've received. Since the month of October is not over yet, we're looking at September this time around. You can see at the top the sources of the stimulus funds and the dollars that we've received. Initially, we were recovering lost revenue. We got to the point in July that we haven't had revenue, that net patient revenue that's below what it was a year before. So we've recovered pretty well as far as revenue. We have, of course, expenses related to COVID. I show you the week-by-week totals. There's detail for the ones that pertain to August in a few pages that follow this initial figure here, the initial page. And then there are some capital expenditures we've had through the end of September, totaled about $52,000. We made an adjustment for the normal use of PPE during that period. The net effect of all that, between lost revenue, operating expenses, and capital expenses related to COVID, we've expended $861,538.24 here at the hospital. I have now caught up. I paid the remaining $96,256.14 that was due to the hospital from the stimulus funds. So, been able to transfer that entire amount back into the hospital general account to be used for continuing expenses. And that's kind of the scenario going forward. We're going to have some large purchases after the end of each month. When I know what those totals are, I'll reimburse the hospital from stimulus funds to make up for that COVID-related expenses. If you go several pages back, you'll come to a page that runs lengthways. It has the nursing home on it. I've broken that into several sources of stimulus funds. The nursing home has received through the end of September about $511,000 of COVID stimulus money. Between lost revenue and operating expenses, they've used up $364,996.30 of that. Caught up also with the nursing home and reimbursed them that full amount from stimulus funds. So they have about $146,000 still remaining to spend in that's moving right along. Candace talked about some of the things that we've done with the stimulus funds. I just wanted to maybe expand on that a little bit, just by saying that the approach we're taking is we're trying to look at the entire facility and figure out how best to respond to this pandemic we find ourselves in. We want to take a multi-layered approach to fighting the virus. So we've looked at a number of different ways to do that, different types of equipment, different changes we can make to the facility, additions to existing systems like the heat and air system. And we've developed an approach that we've already started in that a few weeks ago you approved the purchase of a couple of Ultraviolet C light systems. We haven't received those yet. The other day we purchased a mister that will help treat certain areas. We're looking at filter systems that can go into the patient room. If they have COVID, we can put that filter in the room with them. It will stay in the room and operate with the patient in there, totally safe for them, and constantly filter that air. It also runs it through an ultraviolet light system. Also runs it through a very complete filtration system to remove pretty much everything from the air. So we're excited about the possibility of doing that. We're also looking at making changes to the heat and air system where we can put ionizers in the ductwork and use those to combat the pollutants in the air, including viruses, bacteria, mold, that sort of thing. So we're taking a multi-pronged approach. We feel like it's a really valid approach that's going to help keep us safe from COVID and keep it out of the facility, or if it comes into the facility, to be able to deal with it immediately and not have it spread. So that's kind of where we're at with that. Unfortunately, we had an item we were going to have you vote on tonight, but I have misworded the proposed motion in the agenda, so we're going to have to pass on C until we get that changed at the next meeting, hopefully. So moving on to D&E, this has to do with the digi-system, video surveillance, and access control. I've asked Mark to come over. He's been in charge of this from day one. He's spent a lot of time researching all these things, doing a lot of homework, has really come up with what we feel is a really good approach, and I want him to kind of flesh that out for us tonight.
Okay, and before he starts, 1 second. So one of the things that we need to do is on D, there are two different numbers there. There's a number for the equipment, and there's a number for the labor. We need to approve those separately. So those will be two votes instead of one vote. The equipment, and Mark will probably attest to this, is already approved through a state vending process for best pricing for both that item in D and the vitamin E. Did I say vitamin?
You did.
All right, item in E. But, so anyways, just whenever we get time to make motions and vote, we will separate each one of those on D and E into two separate votes.
Do we need to do a motion first for C?
The table, yes.
Table it. I'll make a motion to table item C.
Second.
What's a dead E?
I had a motion by Dr. Hannaford, a second by Dr. Simon, to table item C under the CFO's report. Roll call vote, please.
Simon? Yes. Baugh?
Yes.
Gaspard?
Yes.
Hannaford?
Yes.
Randalls?
Yes.
Okay, now Mark.
So in my process of finding the best solution for the hospital, I've probably demoed, 5 or 6 different brands. And the Digi company sells about 3 of the brands that I demoed. This happens to be the cheapest brand with the most features that we can justify for COVID expenses. With the camera system, it will do like facial recognition, contact tracing. So if someone tests positive, we can go back to the video, draw a box around their face, and it'll tell us where they've been in the hospital, what they touched, who they've been near, and that way we know to clean that, where they sit, everywhere. And those features weren't on any of the other systems that were actually more expensive. So it was kind of a no-brainer to go with this Avigilon system. With the door security, we are going with the touchless card instead of everybody going behind each other and entering their 5-digit PIN. So everybody will just hold their card up to the door and it'll enter in. So, you guys have any questions about the systems or?
There is information behind the CFO board report tab that lists everything that each of these systems contain if you're interested in how we arrive at those figures.
Digi holds a state contract. They install at pretty much almost every school in this state. So we made sure that with the state contract, which I can print out, says 20% of MSRP, and they list by line item every Avigilon item or everything that's by state. And I went through and made sure that everything was matched with that. So
How long will our installation take to get it complete?
they're going to send a pretty large team. I suspect it's going to be at least 3-week install.
It also comes with a 10-year warranty of its components.
That was one of the hang-ups with the Avigilon system that I negotiated with them. One of the competing systems that we were considering had a 10-year warranty included with it. And I basically just told them that this system needs to have a 10-year warranty. So they kind of added that in the price as an add-on. So that should kind of make it apples to apples with another system. And they were still cheaper with this system than the other one.
Thoughts, questions, concerns?
I'm going to voice my opinion, I'm still not in favor of a biometric and facial recognition system that's together. That's not something I'm comfortable with.
Any others? If not, I would entertain a motion for the equipment.
I make a motion we purchase the Digi-System video equipment at a cost of $121,941.53.
Second.
I have a motion by Jay Randalls, a second by Dr. Hannaford, for the approval of the purchase of the Digi-System video surveillance for the quoted price of $121,941.53 for the equipment. Roll call vote?
Bob,
No.
Jasper,
Yes.
Hannaford,
Yes.
Randalls,
Yes.
Simon. Yes.
Okay. The next item is the installation.
I make a motion we approve the cost of labor for installation for the Digi-System video system at $40,700.
Second.
We have a motion by Jay Randalls, second by Dr. Hannaford, for the approval of the installation for labor of $40,700 for the Digi system video surveillance. Roll call vote, please.
Jasper,
Yes.
Hannaford,
Yes.
Randalls,
Yes.
Simon. Yes. Bob.
No.
Okay. The next item is, I get that. It's for the access control. Mark, do you want to speak about that?
It's the card, like, that side comes with a badge printer, where we'll take pictures of employees and actually have the picture on the badge. And then the card will be a badge, or a badge that you tap on the door and it opens the door. And that's the contactless, kind of, like, instead of touching the door keypad, then it'll just be touchless. This will be a whole lot easier to manage as a department. Right now, currently, we are having to go to each door and manually program and remove users. This will actually tie in with our Active Directory, which is the main brains on allowing people into our computer system. And as we add and remove people from Active Directory, it kills their physical access to the facility. And that way, it's just a lot faster and a lot more secure.
How many
No
doors?
sharing of password code.
How many doors will be affected?
39 doors, which is more than what we actually have right now secured.
And I suppose from a COVID standpoint, you'll also then know specifically time and date of when people are in the building.
Yeah, some of the doors right now we can't pull reports from, and like we have issues with people sharing codes all the time. We can't really monitor that because we don't have cameras on the door that take a snapshot when someone types it in. So all of this will work in conjunction to make this facility a lot more secure.
Okay. Any questions for Mark in regards to that? So likewise, this needs to be a vote for the equipment first, and then secondly, there would be a vote for the install.
Make a motion to purchase the Digi Security Access Control for the equipment at a cost of $73,540.88.
Second.
So I have a motion by Dr. Hannaford, a second by Jay Randalls, for the purchase of the Digi Security Access Control for the quoted price of $73,540.88 for the equipment. Roll call vote, please.
Hannaford,
Yes.
Randalls,
Yes.
Simon. Yes. Bob.
Yes.
Jasper.
Yes. Second item on that, E, would then be for the install and labor through Digi as well.
I'll make a motion to approve the labor and installation cost of $48,110 from Digi Security for the access control.
Second.
Have a motion by Dr. Hannaford, a second by Jay Randalls, for the approval of the purchase of the installation and labor through Digi Security for the amount of $48,110. Roll call vote, please.
Randalls,
Yes.
Simon. Yes. Bob.
Yes.
Jasper.
Yes.
Hannaford.
Yes.
All right. Anything else? Steve? Chris?
I think that's it.
Okay, thank you guys. Next is the Medical Staff Executive Committee.
Medical staff met on September the 10th. September the 10th? Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, because this is September 4th.
Okay. We just had one last week, that's the last question.
Okay.
We did stroke training and EMTALA training for the providers. And then moving on to credentialing committee. They would like to recommend for reappointment to active staff, Michael Lawrence, DO, Gwyneth Holderby, ARNP. Those are the two for active staff. No, sorry, let me back up. Reappointment to active staff, Michael Lawrence, DO, Gwyneth Allied.
Okay.
Make a motion to reappoint to active staff, Michael Lawrence, DO.
Second.
I have a motion by Jay Randalls, a second by Dr. Simon to reappoint to active staff Michael Lawrence, DO. Roll call vote, please.
Simon? Yes. Bob?
Yes.
Casper?
Yes.
Hannaford?
Yes.
Randalls?
Yes.
We just need somebody by the name of Alvin and also Theodore. Sorry.
All right, recommend for reappointment to allied healthcare staff, Gwyneth Holderby.
Make a motion to reappoint to allied staff, Gwyneth Holderby, ARNP.
Second.
We have a motion by Jay Randalls, a second by Dr. Simon to reappoint to allied staff Gwyneth Holderby, ARNP. Roll call vote, please.
Bob?
Yes.
Casper?
Yes.
Hannaford?
Yes.
Randalls?
Yes.
Simon? Yes.
Okay, recommend to reappointment to courtesy staff for John Hummel, MD, Donald Ransom, DO, and Scott Evans, DO.
Can we do those all in one motion?
Nope, not
No.
that last one.
All right, I make a motion to reappoint to courtesy staff, John Hummel, MD, and Donald Ransom, DO.
No, I think we need to do each one individual.
All right. Just John Hummel, the MD.
Second.
It just makes you do more work today. We have a motion by Jay Randalls, a second by Dr. Simon to reappoint to courtesy staff John Hummel, MD. Roll call vote, please.
Casper?
Yes.
Hannaford?
Yes.
Randalls?
Yes.
Simon? Yes. Bob?
Yes.
Where's Dr. Brown when you need him? Make a motion to reappoint to courtesy staff, Donald Ransom, DO.
Second.
We have a motion by Jay Randalls, a second by Dr. Simon to reappoint to courtesy staff Donald Ransom, DO. Roll call vote, please.
Hannaford?
Yes.
Randalls?
Yes.
Simon? Yes. Bob?
Yes.
Casper?
Yes.
Make a motion to appoint to courtesy staff, Scott Evans, DO.
Second.
We have a motion by Jay Randalls, a second by Dr. Simon to appoint to courtesy staff Scott Evans, DO. Roll call vote, please.
Randalls?
Yes.
Simon? Yes. Bob?
Yes.
Casper?
Yes.
Hannaford?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. Quapping?
We met on October the 14th. The committee continues to monitor required tasks and specific initiatives for each department. Reporting departments for the October meeting are as follows. IT, EHR, utilization review and case management, physical therapy, pharmacy, anesthesia, downtown clinic, as well as lab med staff brought forward from September coffee meeting. Lab, out of 22 QI studies, 6 were below 93%. That's the benchmark we're looking at. Performance measures for med staff are all currently above. IT has one task that is 73% compliant. EHR has 2 tasks at 100% compliance. UR and case management task compliance, 8 out of 6 are below 93% compliant. 12 quality initiatives, 4 below 93%. Physical Physical therapy has 1 task under 93% compliance. 3 quality initiatives are below 93% for this department. This is not a trend in this department. Pharmacy has 23 tasks that are under 93%. The drug room has 19 quality initiatives with 2 initiatives with 100% compliance for each. Performance enhancement plans identified areas to improve the quality performance measures to increase compliance. The lowest score due to the computer program issue that has been resolved at this time. These areas will be continued to be monitored monthly for upward or downward trends for the next 6 months. And then improvement to patient care, I reviewed 3 contracts, and those 3 contracts are in compliance.
Okay. And then you have one item, which should be the West End Rural Health Clinic Manual.
Yes, we made several changes to those policies and procedures, and we're bringing this for approval.
Okay, so I need a motion to update that West End Rural Health Clinic Manual, please.
Make a motion to approve the West End RHC manual.
Second.
We have a motion by Dr. Hannaford, a second by Kim Ball for the approval of the West End Rural Health Care Clinic Manual. Roll call vote, please.
Simon? Yes. Bob?
Yes.
Capson?
Yes.
Hanford?
Yes.
Randall?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Candace. Next, Shared Convalescent Home Report, Kelly.
As Candace mentioned, Mark and David have been on site this week running cables for our Wi-Fi system and helping us get to where we'll be able to have Wi-Fi throughout the building again, but also take the next steps in our electronic health record project. We have continued to be COVID-free with our residents and staff since, I think, mid-August was the last time we had a positive test with any of our staff. We've never had a positive test with any of our residents. Hope to keep it that way. We had a brief period of time where we were short on LPNs, and as of today, we're caught up. We've got our nursing staff looking like it's going to be in good shape. We've had some issues with quarantine, though, and with all of our positions, whether nurses or aides or even housekeepers and kitchen staff. So we have had some increased overtime because of that, but we do have a full staff right now. As far as our agency costs are concerned, we had knocked those down and pretty much all the way out for a period of time, and then when we had a situation where we had a couple aides that had to be quarantined, the agency didn't have anybody for us because they'd assigned them elsewhere, and so we have reluctantly kept 40 hours of agency staffing each week just to make sure that we continued to have that available to us if we needed it. And so with that, other projects, we are getting our camera system installed, like what Mark was mentioning with the hospital. Ours will be able to do contact tracing as well. So that's installation started yesterday, should be finished by the end of this week. We will, after the camera installation, we'll start scheduling our door security and elopement system after that. And then I just received, right before the meeting, I received a revised proposal from engineer regarding HVAC system upgrades for the nursing home. So I'll be reviewing that and getting with the finance committee on that proposal. You guys saw our report. I'd be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
How's the morale of your patients or residents?
It's not the best. I mean, we're trying to do things to keep morale up. We did, though, have to, or we chose to, with the increased number of cases in Woods County and Alva in particular, we chose to close down visitation for the time being, hoping that we'll be able to open that up again before long. While we were having visits, it was really good for our residents, and so we had about 3 or 4 weeks worth of visitation that we were able to accomplish. We had people in from, it is quite an effort to coordinate out of town and even out of state visits with our residents because of risk factors, but we were able to get all that accomplished. The hairdressers have been back in, and once their hair got done, everything was almost better. But I think it'll improve when we get the Wi-Fi back up into the facility. Not only will we have Wi-Fi again, but it'll be a better service than we had before, and they'll be able to do some of the things in their rooms with that technology that they haven't been able to do presently. So I'll say as good as can be expected. They're happy that we don't have any coronavirus, but they sure don't like the new world we're living in. So, we did. I almost forgot to mention, because I don't know. I don't like saying the first part because it leads to, but when it leads to the second part, I do think you guys need to know. There's a website that compares nursing home rankings, and I guess when at the time the decisions were made in shuffling personnel for the nursing home a year and a half ago, we knew that the nursing home was not performing as well as it should be, and it was rated as a 1-star facility. And this week we received word that we will be upgraded to a 2-star, which isn't where we want to be yet, but with that, the 4 areas that go into that star rating are an overall rating, a survey rating, staffing rating, and a quality measures rating. And the rating that we have improved the most on is our staffing rating, and we've gone from 0 stars to 4 stars. And we have one of, if not there's a couple up in Kansas that have better RN staffing ratios than we do, and outside of that, you're going to have to get over an hour away from Alva to have a better RN staffing ratio than what we have. So I'm real proud of that. I think the staffing is probably the key ingredient to make sure that we improve all those other areas. We're probably due for our annual survey any time. I don't know, the state, when they've talked to us about their annual surveys, they've obviously been impacted by the coronavirus, but according to their usual guidelines, we're due for them to show up anytime. And I think we'll do all right. I think we'll see improvement in our survey rating as well, and once that, we may even gain another star after that. So.
Very
Good.
good. Very good news.
Good. Any other questions? If not, homestead report?
I don't have a written report for you this month. But things seem to be going pretty well at the homestead. We have we've implemented this at both facilities, the homestead and the nursing home. We've implemented a ongoing customer service and satisfaction, actually customer satisfaction and employee satisfaction survey process where employees and residents are contacted by a third party using our information, but contacted by a third party to keep an ongoing record of satisfaction. It's new residents or new employees will get surveyed more frequently. They'll get surveyed 3 or 4 times within their first 6 months of living with or working with our facilities, and ongoing residents get surveyed every 6 months. Residents and staff get surveyed every 6 months. It's a pretty neat system that we're in that it triggers certain questions, trigger if their responses are something that needs to be addressed, and so we get emails telling us, hey, this employee had this issue, you need to call and resolve it. And then it tracks how quickly we resolve issues and that sort of thing. And we're just getting started in it, so we really don't have enough data in there to really say how we're doing. But I'm looking forward to what that has to show for both facilities so that we can make sure and stay on top of any issues that as they come up, rather than waiting long periods of time before we figure something is an issue and then do something about it. Homestead has had some people move in and had some people move out, but they've stayed pretty steady. Staffing is pretty steady. They've got one person out on medical leave right now, but they're doing all right.
Okay, any questions for the homestead? Not, Kelly, thank you. Oh, is there anything to report for the foundation?
Foundation's 990 is repaired, or prepared. Maybe it's repaired. It's not a vitamin, but it is prepared, and I'm getting that sent off so that we're good with Uncle Sam.
All right. Is there anything from St. Anthony's?
No, she obviously couldn't travel here.
Okay. Bo?
I was unable to attend the last city council, so I have no report.
Okay. The only thing I've got is going forward for the next several months, we will also have Zoom availability on our meetings, and we'll post that on our agenda so that that'll be available. We'll still meet here in person if you want to attend in person, but we will also have Zoom available. So the only thing I request is that you respond to Rosemary which way you're going to attend, so that we still know we have quorum. So we know who to expect here and who to expect online. And we're not trying to help somebody get online that wasn't going to be here either way. Okay? There was no other items of new business. What? Oh, next month's meeting?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So in November, we are scheduled to meet in November on the 17th, but we need to move that to the 24th. So our scheduled meeting would be the 24th of November, not November 17th. Anything else?
And I was going to share one thing on Chris Hummel, or on John Hummel, is his real name John Chris Hummel, because we call him Chris. I just want to make sure we're. Yes, his name. That's what I thought. Okay, yeah.
All right. We're adjourned.